War on graft, one of the areas that has not so far been talked about that much, or rather we had not seen any action being taken, is the judiciary. But here we have it on the Daily Nation, top judge to be arrested over sleaze. And as the war on corruption gathers steam, investigators and prosecutors are poised to move into the judiciary in an effort that is likely to shock Kenyan legal and political landscape. So the war on graft continues. Weda, let me start with you as a lawyer. Yes. Would it surprise you if one of the top judges in the Supreme Court would actually be arrested on sleaze? That would be unprecedented. It's not happened before. It would be unprecedented.
Let me just hope that it would not be witch hunt. You know, the judiciary and the executive, they are not good friends. After nullifying the presidential election, they must sit on edge. But it would not be a surprise because the judiciary itself there are some who are still taking bribes, there's some who are basically incompetent, there's some who are the so-called, I always call them the face of Kenya judges, where you say we have to fill one here, one there. So some of them, competence, ability is wanting. But I trust and hope that it should not be where the executive says, now we want to deal with the judiciary, we want to revisit. It will be very dangerous. It will be a war that can bring down this country. But if there's one or two or three judges, wherever they are, that are involved in corruption, then...
Well, according to this article, we would like to assume that the DPP has already done his work, and by the time they're arresting, they obviously have evidence which would possibly have them prosecuted. Michael Agwanda, your thoughts on now the judiciary and the microscope in terms of graft?
Mike, fighting corruption should cut across every sector in this country, whether private sector, whether non-profit organization, whether judiciary, whether the fourth estate. There's been corruption, whether it is in the police service, whether it is, you know, there's been corruption everywhere. And to say that there's an individual that is being targeted in judiciary that might be having some, you know, huge amount, nobody knows how much that is, in his account, well, I will say, just like my friend Weda here says, I hope it is not just by threatening judiciary that we're coming for you, but that there is evidence that this person might have gotten this money out of reasons that perhaps are not within expectation. And if it is through corruption, my advice will be arrest them, take them to court, and we should not have even seen it in the newspaper. If anything, by the time you are seeing this in the newspaper, it means that something is happening already behind the scenes, and it means that somebody is either playing with the psychology of people, because if the DPP had relevant documentations and evidence that this man is culpable for corruption, we will perhaps be seeing them in court before we even read about them on the newspaper. And so to read it in the newspaper in the first place tells us that already there's a lot of underdealing, and sometimes this person might not even get to the courts. But I can say this. The Justice Department is where we take all our issues, hoping that we'll get justice out of it. Now, if individuals, some of the individuals that are sitting and listening to your case are corrupt, then we'll never get anywhere, because every case about corruption will end up on their desk. And if it ends up on their desk and is already corrupt, then we will never see the light of the day on this matter of corruption.
Absolutely.
If, I mean, I don't know, just a few days ago, I think the Chief Justice made it very, very clear and invited the investigation into his own department, and not just for yesterday, but even for yesteryears, meaning that he knows that there is some corrupt element in the judiciary, and if indeed they are, then they need to be weeded out so that we can have great faith again in the judiciary.
All right, Irungo Kangata, your comments on this?
Yes, I think when you talk of corruption, I would imagine it a cancer that affects all branches of governments. We have seen governors who have been taken to court. We have seen members of parliament who have been taken to court. We have seen members of the executive who have been taken to court. And surely, it would have been a misnomer where you find we don't have a corrupt judge. all those people who are corrupt in those other branches, they must have some allies, some connection with the judiciary, which in my own opinion needs to be tackled. Otherwise, then there will be a missing link. And therefore, I want to congratulate the DPP and also other agencies which are currently carrying out investigations. They appear to be quite objective. They are not favoring anyone. And to that extent that they have now gone into judiciary, to me they are sending a positive message. Anyone who may try to spin that issue out of context, I think that would be very unfair to Kenyans, because we have seen members of parliament being arraigned to court is not an issue. So the same zeal, I think we should ask the DPP to look at the judiciary and ensure any judiciary officers who may have been entangled in corruption, he or she is taken before a court of law.
All right, and we want to conclude the newspaper review, but I saw something interesting here, Irungu Kangata, and I happened to eavesdrop as you